This is Talk Over Tea,
a place for a casual conversation about life and local government.
with Kassandra Gove
and Claudel Frederic.
elected officials from the city of Amesbury, Massachusetts.
Relax with us for a moment. The tea is hot.
Hi, Claudel.
What's up?
Welcome back to
Yeah.
another episode of Talk Over Tea.
Yes. Wait, guess what? I have a different flavor
Oh,
tea.
you do?
This week. I just wanted to tell you that before
Okay,
we
what
get
do you
too
have?
deep. It's actually caramel apple
Ooh,
of the season.
but it's a tea.
It's a tea.
I've never seen it before. I'll have to look for it.
Yeah,
I
if-
think I would actually like
If
that.
only you guys could smell what I'm smelling right now.
Ooh.
Amazing. All right.
Well, thanks for
yes,
sharing.
Yes. All right. I
Well,
just had to interrupt you real quick.
No, I'm
Yeah.
happy to hear that you've switched it up. You know me. I have the same raspberry fizz
Not boring at all.
that I
All
always
right.
hear. that
Not
I always have. So today you have questions for me.
Yes.
And I'm going to just let you take it away.
Yep. All right. So we're going to get right into it. There were some people that wanted to know. So let's give the people the tea.
All right. We got listener questions.
All right. So we're going to start with the easy ones. Like I said, what is your favorite comfort food?
Oh, my favorite comfort food. I'm going to say mac and cheese.
Okay. All right.
Mac and cheese.
All right. All right.
I just sort of grew up on mac and cheese.
Yeah?
Like mac and cheese and hot dogs.
You know what? Yeah. I've
There you go.
definitely, yeah. We've all dabbled. All right. So, number 2. What is something you used to do and do not because you're mayor? Or you think you can't because you're the mayor?
This is a good one.
This is a really good one. Be honest.
Have a yard sale.
What? What?
Okay.
Yeah? All right. Tell
Or
me.
like sell things on Marketplace.
Okay.
There's just nothing good that's going to come from people trying to sift through my junk and
Yeah.
haggle over $1.
Got it.
Like I went to the mayor's house and we fought over $1,
Yeah.
right?
That's true. So you used to
I
have.
just feel like I can't. I mean, I have the same junk in my house that everybody else does, but what am I going to do with it? I can't have a yard sale.
Wait, so you used to have yard sales before?
I mean, doesn't everybody? Every 5 years.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like I have things for Marketplace and I have to have my friends put them up. And if I want to have a yard sale, I have to bring it to other people's houses because
Wow. Yeah.
I can't have a yard sale on the front lawn of the mayor's house.
I would definitely tell everybody.
Okay, see? So there you
Yeah,
go.
I would
I can't have
100%.
yard sales anymore.
All right. We'll take that. What does a day off look like for you?
Oh, this is a good question. I sort of feel like everything I do is part of my role as mayor. I don't, whether I'm going to sporting events or shows or events in town, it's like I don't really have a day off. Whether I'm not, maybe sometimes I'm not in the office. So I guess if I don't have to be in the office and I don't have any events on my calendar, I typically don't leave the house. I try, that's like a real day off. Like
Okay.
I don't have to be anywhere. I would try not to leave the house and try to catch up on the same chores that everybody else has. Like my laundry doesn't get done very often,
Got
the
it.
dishes, clean the house and relax a little bit, watch a little TV, paint.
So
I like to
you-
paint and decorate the house.
Okay.
So things around the house is
Got
what
it.
I'm going to do if I really don't have to be anywhere else.
Fair.
Okay.
All right. All right. So we're getting into, these are going to be a little bit specific to Amesbury. So something's happening in our community.
Okay.
How many TIFs do we have and when do they expire?
Oh, I should have done some research for this. We have 3 current TIFs, which is tax incremental financing. It's used as an economic development tool. And there were 2 existing TIFs when I took office. So they are on the tail end of their timeline. Basically what happens in a TIF is we say, we set a timeline and say, maybe a TIF is a 10-year timeline and the amount of anticipated revenue for taxes based on the value of this proposed project, we assign sort of an exemption or a discount to those anticipated taxes. So it declines over time. And I think that's the question, is sort of like, where are they in that timeline? The two existing ones are towards the end of their timeline. I want to say they're like within the last 5 years of their timeline now. But they are posted on the city website. If you are interested, visit the city of Amesbury, and maybe I'll make a post with an update on that soon, because I don't have that off the top of my head. And then we have a third one, which is new. That's the one that I wrote for Munters, which is engaged in a new development project. And they have, I think it's a 15-year TIF. And their very first year was a 100% exemption. And so that was FY25. That's the year we're in. And so starting in FY26, they'll actually start a payment towards their taxes on the real estate that they have there. So they'll already see their first sort of shift in their percentage of their exemption in FY26. So there's always movement in those, and you've got to look at their agreements, but they're all on our website, and I know there's two that are nearing the end.
Got it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in too deep into this, but
Yeah.
2026 seems like it's going to be a pretty solid financial year.
We are optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
All right. What are the upcoming affordable housing projects we keep hearing about?
Oh, so we in Amesbury have a lot of housing projects in general. They're not actually specifically affordable housing projects, but just housing in general is really important. Of course, we're all talking about the housing crisis, and it's really a production issue. We have been very slow to add new housing to the market. I believe all of them, the larger projects that seems like people are hearing about, they will have some percentage of required affordability. Some percentage of their units will be required to be deed restricted affordable units. That means that they will be affordable under the HUD requirements. Amesbury falls under the Boston radius for their designation of what the area median income is and the percentage that you can designate for affordability. So that might not be affordable to everyone, but it means that it sort of counts on what we call the SHI, as a subsidized housing inventory. Communities in Massachusetts are expected to meet a 10% threshold for affordable housing, 10% of your year-round housing stock to be affordable, designated deed restricted affordable. And Amesbury has not met that 10% threshold. So all of these new housing developments that will have some percentage, some of them have a 20% requirement, some have a 10% requirement, those will all help us reach that 10% overall threshold for our community. So in general, they're great developments. There's a variety of production happening. It's just important that we add housing of all sizes, of all different kinds. They're in different areas of the community. There is some concentration in one area of the city because there is open land there for development, but there's also a lot of infill development happening more to the city center too, which is important. We want, again, lots of variety for people. Right now, we just need to give folks a choice for their housing. So, stay tuned for project proposals. Right now, we just have zoning in place and we have developers at the table, but they haven't actually submitted and presented to our planning board yet. So as soon as that happens, you'll start to see more plans and designs. But we have probably close to 1,000 new units, new homes being added to Amesbury's market in the next several years here. So
That's good.
glad that they include some affordability and lots of variety for people to pick from.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Come to Amesbury.
Yes.
All right. Here's the next question here. Are there benefits to opening a business in Amesbury opposed to other locations?
Oh, well, I guess what would a business owner consider when they were looking to locate their business in a community? I think that it depends on the type of business. It depends on the type of space you're looking for. The market availability and proximity to competitors, or sort of supporting businesses, sort of complementary businesses, I guess. So it depends a lot on your type of business, but I think in general, Amesbury is a great place to do business. It's a relatively affordable place to do business in terms of rent and overhead and approvals and permits and costs from the city. There's a lot of choice in types of location. We have a Route 110 area that's we have a ton of vehicular traffic out there. We have industrial parks. We have a downtown city center. We have a really strong chamber of commerce, which not every community has. Some have regional chambers of commerce, and we have our own, which is amazing. They foster a really great network of business owners, which you can really benefit from as a entrepreneur. And we do have economic incentives for certain types of businesses and certain projects of size. I think that there's just a really cohesive community here that supports local businesses. I think it depends on what you're looking for, but this region in general is a great place to be in business. There's lots of support and opportunities for networking and connection.
I agree.
It's very much an attraction, so there's a lot of benefit to that.
Very walkable.
And very walkable, yes.
All right, so far you got a B+.
Okay.
All right, so now we're moving on to a little bit more personal questions here.
Okay.
All right, what is your hardest criticism to take?
I think that when it comes to taking criticism, it's more about who it comes from than what it is. We run for office and we take these positions sort of knowing that you can't make everybody happy. And you have to be okay with that. You've got sort of a 50-50 shot.
Yep.
And there's going to be lots of noise and there's going to be people who are upset, and they may not be upset with you overall, but maybe about a certain decision or, process or something. And sometimes there's constructive feedback in that, right? You have to be able to sort of sift through it and think, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I could have done something wrong. Maybe I just didn't give them enough information. And in general, that's fine. Maybe they don't know the whole story, and sometimes I'm just okay with that. And that's where they are. But I think when it comes from someone that you know or that you've worked really closely with, I remember very close family friends, people that I knew personally, campaigning against me. And that is like such a gut punch. It's so hard. And yes, politics are polarizing, but potholes don't have parties. Local government is different. And so I think for me, that's why I say, it's more about who it comes from. As a local politician, what we do happens in our neighborhoods. It happens on our doorstep. And there's so many people here who do really know me. Or have really worked with me. And so when criticism comes from them, you just sit back and you think you really think I would do that? Yeah. And they don't know the whole story, but they just react so quickly, or for them to be part of you get sort of caught up in a conversation. And it's like, don't you trust if that was really the facts, that's not how that
character.
happened. Yeah, that's out of character. So I think it's more so about who it comes from, and that's, that can be hard.
Yeah, I could see that being a tough balance for sure.
Yeah, right? Because
sure.
this is a community I grew up in, so I know a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so not bad. How do you handle criticism in online social media platforms?
Yeah, similar to what I just alluded to. There's a lot of people who speak with confidence in those spaces, and they really don't have all of the information. I don't really get involved for the most part. Every once in a while, if I see something really going off the rails, it's very clear that they don't have the facts. and that it could just really spiral, I may have someone else speak for me. I might just help get the facts out there to people who might engage and might not tell them to do it, but just to certain people, I might just make sure that they know what really happened to help sort of inform the narrative. It's different when they criticize policies or things that have happened in the community than when they criticize you as a person. I think when they're criticizing policy, that's when you can sort of you can get other people involved. You can help put out the facts. Maybe you make a Facebook post through the city or, on your own, mayor's page, or, you start talking about it out in public and just you can tell when there's sort of a little buzz in town. People are talking about something. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to start talking about this out in public a little more, right? So that we kind of get the information out or correct things, or again, maybe there's positive, constructive feedback in that for me to take. But when it's personal, honestly, it's actually easier for me to just let it roll off, because I can look at those Facebook forums, social media, and say, they don't know me. They don't have any idea who I am. They can criticize. I get all kinds of things, that I wore jeans to work, that I, what Halloween costume I wore,
She wore jeans.
I've had that more than once.
Wow.
And so that I just I brush off. They've got too much time on their hands. I have business to take care of. They can talk about what I wear all they want, Or, again, those come from people who they don't really know who I am. They don't know anything about my life or, me as a person. So that's actually easier for me to just not think about.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
well, let's move on to the next question. I still can't believe you wore jeans.
I know.
Crazy, but
I have them on right now.
All right. So obviously there's a lot to go along with what you do, in office and personal life. So how do you handle stress?
We all need a way to handle stress.
100%. How do you handle stress?
I have always had a mindset of that, and I don't know who told me this, probably someone in grad school or something, that you can have a bad moment, but you can't have a bad day. You don't have bad days. You can have a bad moment. So it's important for me to sort of to process things, to think about them. I make mental notes about how they could go better or how they could have gone differently. I have a few personal practices that sort of prepare me for stressful situations that have helped me manage them differently. You put yourself in these sort of fight or flight situations. That is stress, right? And I am in those situations constantly, sometimes all day long, more than one a day. I have practiced cold water therapy and cold dipping.
Okay.
Which I know people think is often the response is why? That is crazy. But it is a great way to prepare yourself for prepare your mind really for working through a fight or flight response. I really enjoy it. I've done it all year round here in New England, going in the cold water.
Good for you.
So I really enjoy cold water therapy. I also like going out for a walk to just clear my head. I love listening to music. I grew up in performing arts and on stage, and love all kinds of music. And sometimes you just need to you just need to belt it out.
Yep.
And I can tell when I need to do that. I just tend to turn on the music. And so I have, a couple of, I like to exercise and have a place I can do that in my home now. So I can do it on my own time and schedule, and I don't need to figure out someone's class schedule. Because sometimes it's late at night or very early in the morning.
Yep.
But just being able to really stay active and take care of myself are they're just really important pieces to balance and managing our stress.
Nice. Sounds pretty normal.
Yeah. just like you. I'm just like you.
Yes. Yes. All right. So let's take it to the next question here. All right. How do you approach decision making when faced with highly controversial issues?
Everything we do is controversial. because there's always going to be multiple perspectives. And the most important thing I can do is listen. Listen and do my best to understand the different perspectives. I may not agree with it, and they may not be happy with the decision, but the best thing I can do is listen and find different ways to do that, to engage stakeholders, experts, professionals, outside perspective, learn from other people. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We also need to know what works in our community. So I kind of look at everything as a controversial issue. Like someone's always going to be mad. How mad are they going to be and how much does it matter are important perspectives.
Fair?
Yeah.
Very fair. And accurate. Yeah, definitely. So, all right, following that, so what is the most rewarding part about your job as a mayor?
There's so much really, that's why we do this, because it is rewarding. I've had a few instances where I've personally interacted with someone and they've needed help with something, or even just a small conversation. I've heard back from them later that, they got the help they needed. They, were able to progress, or I got a note that, that conversation was so meaningful to them. Like, those make me feel like I'm really making a difference. But I think the most rewarding thing, what really stands out is any chance I have to speak with children, any chance I have to work with kids.
Awesome.
I love when the Cub Scouts come in or the Girl Scouts come in. I've spoken in classrooms, even just reading on Read Across America Day, talking to kids in the street. I've been out to dinner before and seen a little girl and her dad, and they stop and ask if she can take a picture, and we talk a little bit about school. And that to me is so important. I had a mentor in college, and I more than one really, and my college experience really shaped my view of leadership. I had a very close proximity to leadership. I knew the president, I knew the dean of students. I babysat and house sat for their kids, and when they were traveling, and it was normal to me to be able to approach them and just have that conversation. So I've sort of carried that with me, and I want children and people here in our city to feel like they can just approach me, like they can stop and ask me a question, and that they can that they can do that at any time,
right.
And so when that happens, it's rewarding for me that they feel comfortable, that they walk away and can say, I met the mayor, and that they can, picture themselves doing this, or, feel comfortable with leadership in that way. That to me is like the most important thing that I can do. I met with a former staff member before I took office, and he said he always considered the measurement of success for him that the next generation wanted to stay in Amesbury. And when I was a kid, I was like,
I like that.
I'm getting out of here. When I graduated high school, we all went as far away as possible. And so his work, this was Joe Fahey, who was our economic development director, his work certainly laid the foundation for it. And I've really taken on a responsibility of sort of continuing his legacy, of ensuring that young people feel connected to our community and invested and valued, and that they, again, have access to leadership and can, their voice can be heard, and that they would want to stay here. And I think that's the best we could do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good. That was really good. And yeah, definitely.
I love when the kids come by. I've had kids I had a day in the afternoon. This is a fun story. I had a day one afternoon in literally middle school. They must have been middle school kids. They just walked into the mayor's office. They just walked in. We're like, "Is the mayor here? Is the mayor here?" And I walked out, and they said, "We just wanted to say hi. We weren't sure if you'd be here." And it was so cool. It was just the best. It was the best.
Well, it sounds like obviously the gratification you get from
kids.
this it outweighs the stress.
Yes. You're right. Like if I'm really stressed out, that's the other thing I do is go to a school and go read a book to some kids.
No, that's huge. That is awesome. So, I mean, with that being said, I guess I kind of know the answer to this, but will you be running for another term?
Oh, I do plan to run for another term. I am in year 1 of 4. We changed our charter to have a 4-year term. And I feel like we are going to make so much progress, even in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we've really laid the groundwork this year for even the last few years I've been in office, but coming out of the pandemic, we sort of needed to get our feet back under us. Our businesses are just booming. We've really put ourselves on the map. People are talking about us. This housing going in is going to make a real difference. There's going to be a lot of change in the next 3 years, and I would love to have the opportunity to continue to serve and earn people's vote to stay in office. Beyond that, to really see this all come together.
I think you'll have a really good shot. All right. So, what are your future ambitions? I mean, I feel like you kind of spoke about it, but you could kind of.
I get this question a lot. I think people look at mayors and say, "Do you want to run for higher office?" I do not have any intentions of running for higher office. I love being mayor of Amesbury.
Yeah.
I grew up here. I have a long family history here. I feel like my connections enable me to be a better mayor. My history here, my understanding of the community, our traditions, our sort of expectations, our culture. So I don't have any plans to run for higher office. I love being mayor, and I feel like I could do this for a long time coming. So right now, I don't see a future that looks any different.
Okay. Okay, good.
Because I still have 3 years at least. So
No, good. And I think there's some momentum. Obviously, like you said, there's a lot coming down the line. So
yeah.
it's a lot of things to be excited about. So I can't see you just walking away from all of that, at least without a fight.
Right.
Not without a fight. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So what is your why? Can you share your passion? And what gets you jazzed?
What is my why? I think it's simple. My why and why, sort of going back to what made me want to run for office in the first place was to make Amesbury better. In sort of all aspects, to get more people involved, to get our systems running, more aligned, to be more efficient, to, improve the work environment for our staff, to improve communication. I mean, really, like in all aspects, to just make Amesbury sort of like the best that it can be, to really highlight our history, to prepare us for our next chapter, to just take my skills and experience and dedicate that to our community, sort of to my people. That is my why, is to just make a difference here. And that, I guess that is my passion, is to just make a difference and, to sort of like leave a legacy.
Yeah. And to your point, like I think some of the relationships that you have with so many of the people that have made a difference and you've seen it done and you have connections to them and you're doing it yourself. Yeah, that's yeah.
I just have a passion for seeing things. I want to say like seeing things grow and improve. Like I have a very long range vision.
Yep.
I can see what we should look like in 5 and 10 years.
Yeah.
But I also have a very pragmatic approach to making that happen. And so my passion is sort of like leading us through those stages and seeing it through to completion, like seeing that end result and knowing the work that went into it, and sort of I love sort of pulling those puzzle pieces together and the incremental change, that real strategy work.
Yeah.
I guess I'll say that's what gets me jazzed. You can see me like get excited. I'm like, I love that. That is so
that's
rewarding.
awesome.
It's exciting to see. It's like, it's challenging to think about. I would say that's what gets me jazzed, to know what it should look like and figure out how to get us there.
Let's toast to that real quick.
Cheers.
All right. That was a good one. So I have a couple more for you, and we'll wrap it up. So who is your biggest source of inspiration?
Does it have to be just one? I have more than one.
Okay.
So I mentioned earlier my mentors from when I was in college. I, again, was very close to leadership, and there's two different people for two different reasons. So Christy Gover was my assistant dean of students, and Brian Coker was our dean of students, and they both inspire me. What was the question? Who's inspired?
Your source of
Inspiration. Okay, all right, good. They both inspire me. I learned a lot from them. They pushed me along into this path of administration. And it's really fun to watch them now. They've both progressed in their career. And sometimes I even take ideas from them and I think, okay, I can do this too, but as the mayor. So they've been great sources of inspiration. And then the other person that comes to mind, and I just told someone this recently too, Sarah Blakely, who founded Spanx, and now the company Sneaks, if you haven't heard of it. She is someone who, in my eyes, is a long hauler. Like, she plays the long game. She sees a need. She finds a way to fill the gap. And she has been told no a lot of times, but persevered. And she's also just really creative. She takes care of her staff. She has a very core group of friends that they have traditions and things that they do together. She has a lot of fun. She lives a life that I sort of admire.
Nice.
And so she is someone I love to follow. I talk about her like I know her. I don't, but she's somebody I like to follow, and I suggest you do too.
You never know. You might meet her. You might meet her. Hey. Well, again, I feel like you've mentioned a whole bunch of reasons why, but why is Amesbury special to you?
Oh, yeah, I scooped you on that, I guess. Amesbury is, it's special to me because of my history here, because I didn't always love it, so I can understand who people who don't. And not that I, didn't love it, but when you're a kid, you're like, well, this place stinks, right? I'm getting out of here. It didn't look like it does now when I was a kid. But being able to see it change and grow, and knowing so many people here, and being able to see them come back together and celebrate each other, and also welcome people to our community who just fall in love with everyone here, and again with what we have to offer. It's just a really unique place, geographically and sort of culturally, and we have a great community here. So I think it's better than anywhere else. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. So
let's go. All right. Well, one more question. Okay, one more. That's it.
Okay.
All right. So you wake up in the morning and it's really nice out. The windows are open.
Yeah.
The birds are chirping.
Okay.
Right? And you have to play one song, put it on the record player, sing the chorus to that one song.
You want me to sing?
Just
right
the
now?
chorus. Just the chorus.
I can't do it.
What?
No.
Oh, no. What is it? What's the song?
I'm going to freeze. This is a terrible question for me.
This is a great question. What's the song? What's the mood right there? Like, everything is going amazing. First thing in the morning. It just feels right. Music is a mood. What's the song you're playing?
Greatest Showman, This Is Me.
Are you going to sing the
No,
chorus?
I'm not going to sing. No, folks, you're not going to hear me sing today.
All right. Well, that wraps it up.
That's the first one that comes to mind, and I do often play that in the morning.
Yeah, that is a morning song? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, good. I think we got a little bit of everything here today.
Good
All
questions.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody who sent in your question.
Talk over tea.
All right.